All right, good morning, second grade. Today for social studies, we are going to be looking at some of the major U.S. cities. So first up, we have Washington, D.C. And as you can see, Washington, D.C. is over here on the east coast of the United States. Washington, D.C. is the United States capital. And believe it or not, many people think that Washington, D.C. is its own state. But Washington, D.C. is not one of our 50 states that we count. So Washington, D.C. is not a part of Maryland, and it's also not a part of Virginia. It is called the District of Columbia, so that's what the D.C. stands for. So Washington, District of Columbia, and it's a set of land that was set aside for the United States capital. So again, it is not its own state, and it is not in another state. It is just its own piece of land called the District of Columbia. All right, next up we have Atlanta. So Atlanta is the capital of the state of Georgia, and we see on the map it is down here in the southern part of the United States. So even though Georgia is the peach state, Atlanta actually does not have any peach trees growing there. I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. All right, next up we have Los Angeles. And we see where Los Angeles here is on the map. So it's on the west coast of the United States, pretty close to the state of Arizona. Still a good amount of driving to get there from here. So Los Angeles is known for its Hollywood entertainment industry. And Los Angeles is best known by its initials LA. And has also been dubbed the City of Angels, La La Land, Tinseltown, and the Big Orange. Next up we have New York City. So we see on the map, New York City is also on the East Coast. So New York City was the capital of the United States from 1785 to 1790. The One World Trade Center is the tallest building in the U.S. And the One World Trade Center is 1,776 feet tall, the year that America got its independence. So I thought that was pretty cool. And another fact about New York City is that France donated the Statue of Liberty to the U.S. in 1886. All right, next up we are back on the West Coast in California again, this time in San Francisco. So on the map we see that San Francisco is right on the Pacific Ocean, a little bit higher than where LA was. So San Francisco is a large American city found in Northern California. It is located on a peninsula, which is a strip of land surrounded by water on 3 sides. So San Francisco is bordered by the Pacific Ocean and the San Francisco Bay. So many famous symbols of the United States are located in San Francisco, including the famous Golden Gate Bridge. All right, next up we have Chicago. Chicago is found in the Midwest, and we can see where Chicago is here in the state of Illinois. So Chicago is the largest city in Illinois. It is the 3rd largest city in the whole United States, although it used to be the 2nd largest. Chicago is next to one of the 5 Great Lakes, and so it is next to Lake Michigan. And historic U.S. Route 66 starts in Chicago by Grant Park in front of the Art Institute of Chicago. All right, next up we have Houston. So we see here on the map where Houston is found. So Houston is found in the state of Texas. And Houston is known as the world capital of space exploration. And it has also been called Space City since 1967 because it is where you can find NASA's Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center. Houston is the most populous city in the state of Texas and the 4th most populous city in the United States. So it's just right behind Chicago. And we can see on this map where Illinois is located in the Midwest. All right, next up we have Boston. And so again, we see Boston is pretty close to New York City. It's up here on the East Coast as well, and it borders close to the Atlantic Ocean. So Boston is the capital of the state of Massachusetts, and Boston is one of the oldest municipalities or cities in the United States. And it was founded on the Shawmut Peninsula in 1630 by Puritan settlers from the English town of the same name. Boston City was the scene of many key events of the American Revolution, including the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, the Battle of Bunker Hill, and the Siege of Boston. So during the American Revolution in the 1700s, Boston was a very popular spot for fighting. All right, and that is our social studies lesson for today.